Everybody, Brent from BC Dubs back again to bring you folks another music related video. I hope everybody's been doing well. I've been doing great. If you can catch it in the feed, I did an interview with Camden, my son, on the channel. It was really fun to do. Check it out in the video feed below. But anyway, today I think I just want to do a video of some songs that I would have on my playlist in my headphones or whatever I'm listening to my music on. Usually I'm usually in my truck working most of the time, so I don't have a lot of time or I don't have a lot of ways to listen to music in my truck. I do. I can listen to Pandora or Spotify or whatever. I don't have any way to listen to any physical copies in my truck. I drive a 2018 Dodge Ram for work. But when I'm here in my man cave and I'm pulling out a CD or a record to listen to, this is what I'm listening to right now, I should say. And I think maybe you folks will find this this video interesting, and maybe you'll see some of these bands that I'm showing today and be like, oh yeah, I remember them. Yeah, that's cool, man. I think I'll listen to them or check them out on Spotify. And that's kind of what I try to do, is keep the music alive, especially from the late 80s, from when I started listening to music and rock and roll up into like the 2010s is kind of the era that we'll normally be talking about on this channel. I have been going back into the 70s and things like that, rediscovering some music in my vinyl record collecting videos, which you folks have seen. So I do like that music too. But anyway, rock mostly, some alternative, some singer-songwriter stuff. That's the kind of stuff I'm into. I'm just a rock guy, man. Just a rock guy. Anyway, without further ado, I am excited to show you folks this. I teased this in an earlier video that I found this on eBay, got a really good price. Saw this listing for $5, free shipping, had to pick it up. And we're listening to this today as I'm recording this video. And this is Sponge, Wax Ecstatic. It's one of my all-time favorite albums. I don't know why, but it just is. Really like Sponge. Been through a million members in their band, but they're still doing stuff to this day. I think I was looking up their discography. They had an album as recently as 2016, maybe, I think it was. Their first album was in 1996, Plowed. Everybody will probably remember Sponge from Plowed, or 16 Candles Down the Drain, or the single that was on this album, which was Wax Ecstatic, which actually is on the radio right now. But yeah, Sponge, funny thing, I was just looking these guys up, looking up the discography before I started recording this video, and the lead singer of Sponge, I can't remember his name right now, I'm drawing a blank, but he just was with David Ellison from Megadeth, and they had a band and a couple of members, I think one of the members from Fear Factory and some other guys. So it was David Ellison from Megadeth, the lead singer of Sponge, the guitarist from Fear Factory, I can't remember who the drummer was, but they have an album called Lucid, or they created a band called Lucid. Check that out on YouTube. I was listening to a little bit earlier tonight. It's pretty good. I need to give it more of a listen. I haven't listened to the whole album, but a couple of songs that I did listen to were really good. But regardless, this album right here, Wax Ecstatic, is fantastic. Plowed is fantastic. So I'm on my mission now to get the entire discography. Sponge has 9, I believe it is, studio albums total. I was just on eBay, and one of their more obscure albums is Galore Galore. And I was like, well, let me pick that album up so I can continue on to get all the Sponge discographies, because I like their style. And I saw some listings for that CD, I am not kidding you, for $800. $200. There were only like 14 listings of it all together on eBay. Looked on Discogs to see if I could find a copy of Galore Galore. There's no copies on Discogs for sale. They're actually asking for copies for sale on Discogs. 3 people. But here's the funny part. It was one person that had, there was 12 or 14 listings for Galore Galore, and I hope I didn't get scammed. The one I clicked on was $46 or best offer. And keep in mind, I would not pay $46 for a Sponge CD. I'm not crazy, okay? Now, it was a limited run CD. It didn't do all that well. It's kind of obscure, but still, 46 bucks. It's not like it's signed by the band or anything. I mean, my gosh, $46 for a CD, maybe an LP or a vinyl or something. So, but it said $46 or best offer. So I submitted an offer of 20 bucks. You know, if it's a new copy, they have two versions, a clean and an explicit version. Obviously, I want the original one, which is the explicit. I sent the offer in for 20 bucks, and it instantly got accepted, and it instantly took the money out of my bank account with $6 shipping. So then I got to thinking, man, I hope this isn't a scam, but we'll see. A little more than I wanted to pay. I was kind of hoping that the guy was like, nah, because I really didn't. I really wasn't. I was just seeing what was going to happen. But needless to say, next week, when I come and do my music video, one of my music videos, you should see a copy of Sponge, Galore Galore. This is Wax Ecstatic. If you haven't ever heard this album or heard or remember Sponge, do yourself a favor. Go on YouTube, Spotify, however you get your music, and listen to this whole album. You need to listen to the whole thing. Listen to the whole album. It is fantastic. Bluesy, rocky stuff. They're from Detroit. I teased this in my last video. That's a new purchase CD, by the way. This is another new purchase CD. Literally was a new CD. I did peel the wrapper off. I said I wasn't going to peel the wrapper off because I thought this was a new Seether album, but it's not. It's just the greatest hits. But it's really good. Seether, one of the better bands that came out, you know, in the 2000s and 2010s. I mean, you can't beat Seether with their 3.5 to 4 minute long rock and roll songs. Very well produced, very well written, and I love the guy's voice. I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head, but this is Seether, the very best of Volume 2, which is weird because they don't have, not that I could find in a discography, a Volume 1. So they have a 2003 to 2013 compilation, but they've had new albums since then, so I don't know what's up with that. This is Volume 2, but it's killer. Another thing, for my thrash metal fans out there, it's a really good album. This is Testament. Dark Roots of Earth. Just a killer thrash album. I mean, anybody that knows Testament knows they're a thrash metal band. Their first album came out in I think it was 87, The Legacy. But I mean, if you like thrash, you like Testament. I mean, they sold 14 million albums worldwide. I mean, it's not like they're that obscure. But yeah, this is a great record. This record here came out in, I want to say 2012, I think is what it says, 2012. Picked this up in 2012 or 2013, I think it was. But just a really good album. Yeah. Testament. Dark Roots of Earth. Check it out. I remembered when I picked this album up, and they have a lot of albums. I think they had 9 studio albums, this next band. But one of my favorite songs, and it's probably one of their most commercialized songs, so you people might hate on me a little bit for that, but you're true hardcore fans of this band. But there's a song on this record called Pull Me Under, and this is Dream Theater, Images and Words. And Pull Me Under, the #1 track on this album, is one of my favorite songs of all time. I just love the vocals on this album, and of course, anybody knows anything about Dream Theater, they're just an amazing, metal, progressive metal band with great instrumentation and great songwriting. So yeah, Dusted this one off. Images and Words. Dream Theater. Pull Me Under. Check that song out on YouTube or Spotify. I bet you like it. Grab this one off the shelf because they are in the news today that I saw. This is Apocalyptica, the Seventh Symphony. I have two of their albums. This is I think this is their second. I want to say this is their second album. Just to, you know what it is? It's a group of cellists, and anybody that knows anything about Apocalyptica probably knows that. But on their original albums, such as this one, they like to get singers from other bands like Corey Taylor and guys like that to sing songs that they write behind their music, and it's usually killer. Their claim to fame originally was they covered a bunch of Metallica songs, and that is why they're when they first broke through, it was 4 cellists that played Metallica, and that's kind of how they described it on their first album. Listen to it; it's incredible, incredible. They are incredible musicians. And coming across my Google News feed yesterday on my phone, I saw that they got a new album right now, and they're releasing tracks on it, and they're covering, I think it's 14 more, just like part 2 Metallica songs, like the Four Horsemen, Fight Fire with Fire, songs like that. Some of the harder tracks they didn't cover on the first album. And James Hetfield, I think it's either the 17th of this month or the 27th of this month. Correct me if I'm wrong, but James Hetfield is making a guest appearance on one of their songs, and I hope it's playing a new riff and maybe some new vocals. For a new song from Apocalyptica, maybe something that they wrote that they asked him to add some riffs to and sang. Or it could just be them covering one of their Metallica's older songs and him just singing on it. But yeah, look for that dropping anywhere in the next 10 to 15 days. Apocalyptica with James Hetfield coming to a Samsung Galaxy or an iPhone near you. But yeah, Apocalyptica. Another great just hard rock album. This is Bullet for My Valentine. The Poison. And people remember songs on this album like Tears Don't Fall and All These Things I Hate revolve around me. This is just, to be honest, this is a great album. Bullet for My Valentine, great band, great album. I'm pretty sure this was their debut record. If not, it was their sophomore release, but I think this was their debut record. But Bullet for My Valentine, The Poison. Next up, I know a lot of people like this band. They had, I want to say 2 albums before this album came out, but this was my introduction into them. This is Mastodon, Leviathan, just crazy cool. If I can get the glare off of it. Album art, man. You gotta love Mastodon, man. Just their ever evolving sound and just another group like Dream Theater. They don't sound like Dream Theater, don't get me wrong, but very talented musicians. Blood and Thunder on this album is just fantastic. This whole album's fantastic. The Mastodon, Leviathan, really enjoy Mastodon. I have a few of their albums. I think they have quite a few records now. Showed this band in my last top 50 or 50 albums. There's either 50 songs or 50 albums that should be on your playlist. Their debut album or their sophomore album was on that list. And this is an album that came out in 2010 from that band. And this is Monster Magnet. Mastermind. Space rock, man. Now, this isn't as space rocky as Power Trip was, but this is just a solid Monster Magnet album. I mean, you can put it on, let it spin. Fantastic hard rock album. For the more punker music side, The Offspring, Conspiracy of One. It's a pretty good Offspring album. I mean, it's one of their later albums, but it's got Million Miles Away and Want You Bad, an original Prankster. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. I got my albums up here. If you recognize what these albums are, I'm trying to throw some more obscure albums up there because I realize that I've been doing this and you guys can actually zoom in and read them, but I'm trying to throw some more harder album covers to read to see if they're just more recognizable by their album covers. But if anybody can guess what 2 albums these are, leave it in a comment down below and I will comment back for sure. But yeah, this is a great Offspring album. You know, they don't really have any real bad albums. I mean, they're not my favorite, but if I'm working out or running or jogging around town or whatever the case may be, or cleaning up around the house, this is something I can put on in the background, let spin, decent. Once again, coming back to another record or album that I'm listening to right now, and this is probably because I bought that compilation CD last week, but this is Seether, Karma in Effect. I showed one of my other Seether albums that I have, and that's another. Seether's another one of those bands I'm going to go back and I brushed Seether off in the beginning. And I think it was because of that stuff they did with Amy Lee from Evanescence. I was like, oh, this is pop rock or whatever. But I really did them a disservice. Really enjoy Seether. And this is their 3rd release, Karma in Effect. One of their best releases. Just a great album. But Seether, man, they've been around since 2002. And they put out an album as early as, or as late as, I think 2 years ago was the last album they put out. They got quite a bit in their discography to go back and listen to. If you haven't given Seether a fair shake in a while, listen to them again. Aha! Like Testament, this is another thrash album. Actually, I'll take that back. This is an album from a thrash metal band that isn't thrashy at all. But it is a fantastic album, and I think gets lost in their discography. Kind of gets, you know, overlooked, but a real fantastic solid hard rock record from the late 90s, and that is Megadeth, Cryptic Writings. As you can clearly see, I paid $9.99 for this, probably from FYE or something. But yeah, this is Megadeth, Cryptic Writings. It's a great hard rock album, man, with songs like Trust, Almost Honest, and Use the Man. Very radio friendly, probably the most radio friendly Megadeth album that he's ever released. One of my favorite Megadeth albums, believe it or not, just one of my all around favorite Megadeth albums. I think it's a well written album. It's very well produced. I know, you know, there's some Megadeth's kind of all over the place with how their albums are produced. Some of them sound like crap. Some of them sound really good. Some of them are like concept albums. You just never know with Dave Mustaine what he's going to do from time to time. But this album came out in 1997, Cryptic Writings. Probably hard to find on the original label Now Today. I don't know if you can find this new today. If you did, it'd probably be pretty expensive for a CD. I don't know. I have to look that up and see how much a sealed copy of Cryptic Writings would go for today, but it's a great record. Southern rock / hard rock fans out there. This is an album that I picked up, gosh, quite a long time ago, probably 15, 16 years ago, actually. And just because I saw it, I liked the album art, and I used to do that back in the day because I had so much of, you know, you can see, guys, I have a lot of music. And I had so much of the stuff that I'd already heard from. I had to start reaching for stuff from bands that I've never heard of before. And I would base it on their album art. And this, I got lucky with this one. This is Black Stone Cherry. It's their debut, Black Stone Cherry. But just a great hard rock / Southern rock album. I always said that these guys continue to carry the torch for Southern rock in the 2000s and in the 90s. But yeah, man, Rain Wizard's a great song. The album starts off kick-ass, you know, with Rain Wizard, and Crosstown Woman's really good. Maybe Someday, Tired of the Rain, Rolling On, just a great record. If you've never heard of Black Stone Cherry and you're an older cat and you've come across this video somehow, and you're a fan of 38 Special and Leonard Skinner and Molly Hatchet, give these guys a shot, man. Black Stone Cherry, give them a listen on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you get your music. Just watched a video about this band. A YouTuber did a video. I watch a lot of YouTube music videos because it's just what I enjoy. But this is Type O Negative. This is the best of. I had a copy of October Rust and Bloody Kisses back in the day. I don't know what happened to it. But this has got, it's their essentials. It's got Christian Woman, Black Number One, My Girlfriend's Girlfriend, their cover of Cinnamon Girl, Highway Star. Type O Negative, pretty controversial band. You either love them or you hate them. I like Type O Negative. So, yeah. Funny thing, growing up, and I know I've said this before, but growing up in South Alabama, I mean, the music was very eclectic. Yeah, especially where I grew up, everybody listened to country, and there wasn't a lot of metal. And there was this guy, his name was Jody Davis. Jody, if you ever come across this on YouTube or on Facebook, I'm going to put this on Facebook, and I like to name drop friends of mine from back in high school. He had a copy of Bloody Kisses, and he used to come by and pick me and my friend Brad Matthews up, and we would always go in that CD book his and listen to Black Number One, the extended version. Just remember, that song was awesome at the time. Very well produced, by the way. Love that album. Just a great hard rock, heavy metal record. This is, obviously, this is Avenged Sevenfold, Hail to the King. I always call this Avenged Sevenfold's Black Album because if you follow Avenged Sevenfold up until this album, they were more thrashy and there was a lot more feel and in their music, a lot more drum feels, a lot more lead guitar feels in their music, and their whole discography. This is a band of Avenged Sevenfold that's changed so much over time from their original first two albums, Waking the Fallen and Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, where they were more grindcore, all the way to City of Evil, which is more thrashy metal, to Hail to the King, which was more crunchy metal, to their White Album, which was kind of like experimental music, to Hail to the King, which is a completely big production, very scooped out, very simplified down to get a big, huge sound out of the band. And I think they really hit it out of the park with that album. I went and saw them on tour of that album, and it was a fantastic show. I've seen them twice. That show was fantastic. That was indoors inside of a stadium. They were headlining like a 10-band festival, but they were the headliners, so they had all their own stuff, their own stage and their own fire and their pyrotechnic, and it was killer. They were coming off the Nightmare. They had just dropped this, so they played like 3 songs off of this, and like a lot of their stuff from Nightmare and a lot of their stuff from City of Evil. It was just killer. And then I saw them again outdoors at Camping World Stadium, and there was something going on with him, shouted his voice, and they just didn't sound that good then, but that's a great record, Hail to the King. I remember listening to the radio, I heard a song, and it was called Warriors Call. And I was like, who the heck is that, man? Because it was different, right, than what anything else that was on the radio at the time. And it was like in the vein of stuff that I liked. And that was Volbeat. And this Warriors Call isn't on this record, but I do have that album. But this album is Guitar Gangsters and Cadillac Blood by Volbeat. Man, just a crazy group. A really good song here, Still Counting, by the way. But Volbeat, if you don't know much about him, like his 2 big influences were like Johnny Cash and Old Hank Williams, the lead singer, by the way. Johnny Cash and Old Hank Williams and Metallica. And he blends that together. You hear a lot of dang, what's the harmonica? And he likes to cover a lot of old country music, but with metal. Matter of fact, on this album, he covered "I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry." Is on this album, heavy metal style though. But yeah, man, Volbeat, I saw them open up for Metallica. Just solid, great, solid hard rock band from, I want to say Denmark or something like that. I think they're from Denmark. Next up, we have Disturbed. This is one of my favorite Disturbed albums. Although their first one's my favorite, but this is probably my second favorite. This has a cover of Land of Confusion on here, and Stricken's on this album. This is a great Disturbed album. This is 10,000 Fists. It's a great record. Don't really have much to say about Disturbed. I mean, everybody knows about them. You've heard me, guys, if you watched my channel for any period of time, you heard me talk about Mark Tremonti and Alter Bridge and Creed. This is Alter Bridge Fortress. And the lead song into this album is just a ripper, man. Just a solid hard rock jam. It's called Cry of Achilles. Check this album out. This is Alter Bridge Fortress. And last but certainly not least, talked about this band a few times. It's funny, I noticed today, I was reading something on Google that Metallica just got another #1 hit with their song Screaming, You Know What. I don't want to say it because I don't want my video to be taken down. But they just got another #1 hit, which now gives them 14 rock and roll rock or heavy metal rock hits. That's what they call it nowadays. All time. They got 14. Do you know who has the most, this is going to blow your mind, #1 rock hits all time? Now, I don't know when they started charting this, but since they started charting it, all time. And that is this band right here. This is Shinedown, Amaryllis. It's a fantastic record, like all Shinedown records are. But Bully is on here, Adrenaline is on here, I'm Not Alright is on here. It's a great record. It's kind of like in the middle of their discography, I think, this record. I could have brought out Leave a Whisper or something like that, but I think this record right here gets forgotten about a little bit. Shinedown's got 19 #1 hit songs on rock radio and 31 singles they've put out since they've been around, since Leave a Whisper. But anyway, that's kind of it for this video. It's kind of a long one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Turn those bell notifications on so you'll know each and every time I post a video. It really helps this channel out. Really looking at starting to create maybe some merchandise that I can sell in a store, or figure out some way I can do a Patreon with you folks. And I will. Once I hit a certain number of subscribers, I will. I'm 500, I think, when I get to 500 subscribers. Right now, we're trying to reach 50. We're at 43. So if you come across this video, please subscribe. I need to get to 50. It's a goal of mine. And then from there, we'll just keep growing this thing. And we can talk back and forth about music that you love to listen to and that you want me to listen to. And I'll keep bringing you videos like this and recommending music to you guys and maybe some forgotten gems. But anyway, that's it for now. Hope you guys and girls have a great week. Till next time. See ya.